All right, so I want to talk about a concept, another one that is really important. I think this is something that is really going to be beneficial for the discourse on my channel as we go forward, hopefully. And that's the concept of macro and micro. I know these are two Latin terms for whatever. I'm not going to even worry about the Latin definition of both of those. We're talking about them in this context right now. We're talking about them in terms of issues and problems that we face every day. So macro talks to more of a systematic, generational, institutional thing. Whereas, or a greater, broader scope of it, macro, big, blah, blah, blah. Whereas micro is more so like small, tiny, individual, specific, like individual issues. So one way to look at this would be the concept of colorism. I talked about this in another video, but I'm going to explain how it affects people on a macro level and on a micro level. So, for people who are darker, they're more susceptible to being they're more susceptible to dealing with colorism on a macro level, like on institutional, societal, you know, with systemic level. Like there are actual like systemic things in place. There are also societal things in place that make it hard for people who are dark skinned. On the flip side of that would be more of a micro issues of our colorism would be people who are light skinned who benefit from colorism, but yet they are teased or harassed or bullied because they're light skinned. Because you think you fine because you light skinned, or you think you better than me because you light skinned. Those are real things that happen, but those micro issues don't account for the broader scope of the conversation of colorism. Like the fact that you're light skinned, yes, those instances where you're bullied is terrible, but that won't stop you from getting a job or being chosen or being desired or whatnot. Because desirability politics is a big deal. I might be a video. I might do a video on desirability politics because that's a huge understanding of. That's something I just talk about. But anyway, like how desirable you are is really important in society, and someone who's lighter skinned or closer to Eurocentric standards of beauty will benefit from that. So yeah, you're gonna get teased about being light skinned from darker skinned people because of course they're like bitter and upset and mad that their life is already trash because of things, and uh you're like a reminder of something they'll never have. They'll never have this like they'll never attain the standard of beauty that they'll never attain the standard of beauty that is placed upon them, and them just existing as themselves, they will always be looked at less than just because of how dark they are. So yes, you light skinned person, you will face a lot of ridicule from people, but at the end of the day, like I hate saying that. I hate saying end of the day. That's like the worst phrase. I think of a better phrase. But anyway, you will still benefit from colorism after it's all said and done. Another cliche phrase. I'm just good. I'm going through them tonight. But yeah, you're always going to benefit from colorism no matter what. When you're light skinned, you benefit from colorism without you even knowing. You're privileged just because of your lighter skin. So no matter what little micro issues you go through, your life will not be negatively impacted on a societal, social, systemic, institutional level. Like people who are lighter skin are always more privileged. They're less likely to. They appear to be less confrontational. They don't appear to be angry. Like people who are darker skinned are automatically considered angry black person, angry black this, angry black that. So we have to always go into spaces where we have to always tone everything we do down. Like I know you for me, like I'm the most cuddly, friendliest looking person in the world. Well, I think I am, but because I'm dark skinned and have like facial hair, I know that optically, if I raise my voice just a little bit at a white woman, she's going, "Oh my god! Oh, how dare you colored person talk to me like that?" Like I don't even, like I could just increase my voice just a decimal, but someone who's lighter skinned can do it, and it won't come off as aggressive. It'll just be like he's so passionate. He's so passionate, and stuff like that is just like ugh. So yeah, optically speaking, being darker skin is always going to be a problem. So it's such a wider, it's bigger than you, pretty much. Like that's what that when we talk about macro, the issue is bigger than you. It's so much bigger than you. Micro is that's you. That is your issue. It sucks, and you shouldn't have to go through that. But you can't compare your micro issue to a huge issue. Like you can't just say, "Oh, well, I experience colorism too. I'm light skinned and people talk about me." Like, yes, that's shitty, but you're gonna get a job. You're gonna be more desirable. People are gonna think you're more attractive. Because people think you're more attractive, they think you're more worthy and valued. See, that's the thing with that whole thing when it comes to colorism. Your beauty and attractiveness adds to your value as a person and your likelihood to have a better life just by being lighter skinned. So yeah. Another issue that I know could help drive this home with macro and micro is like fat shaming and body shaming. So body shaming as a whole is shaming people for the natural bodies that they have. But, and I say but, there's two sides of it. On a macro level, societal, systemic, institutional, people who are fatter will always be looked at as less than, until we have a revolution where people just start to see things differently. But that might not happen anytime soon. But anyway, fat people will always have it worse because society has placed it upon them that fat people are less valued, they're less attractive, they're less this, they're less that. Skinny people have their own issues with body shaming. People think they're sick or they're anorexic or they're just less attractive. They don't have any meat on their bones. They're going to die. They're like Skeletor. Surface level, stuff. That does hurt. And it does have its own traumas. But you're never going to have a point in history. Well, I'm not going to say never, but right now in present time, in the current year, 2019, being skinny will always trump being fat or bigger. Like, it just always will. And I know this other side of it too is like, oh, well, the muscle guys, they make fun of me because I'm skinny. Yeah, I get that. But even the muscle guys will have their issues with trying to find clothes for them. So, like, they have their struggles too, but they don't have the same struggles as people who are fat. Life is going to be harder for you when you're fatter. Like, it's automatic. You're going to be looked at as unhealthy. Now, mind you, two people, one could be fat, one could be skinny, both can eat the same exact diet of garbage every day. The person who's fat is going to be looked at, oh, you're unhealthy, you need some help. The person who's skinny, like, oh, he looks so great, look at his abs and stuff. Like, he optically looks like he's healthy, even though he's eating garbage every day. He probably can't even run like 10 seconds without breathing hard, just like the bigger person too. So, what's this? I'm saying is that while yes, being skinnier does come with its own issues with body shaming and body dysmorphia, and you probably are ridiculed, you will never have to go through systemic, institutional, and generational discrimination at all. You just won't, not to the degree that a fat person will. You're not going to go into a store and have them say, oh, we don't have your size, we don't carry sizes that big. Mind you, they will carry sizes super, super small. They actually have an extra small size for men. I'm like, what is this? Who's fitting into this? But yes, the fashion industry, billboards, marketing, social media, all that stuff. I love the body positivity stuff. I'm all about it. I even post my own little stuff. But combating all those generations and just all that systemic stuff when it comes to body image and stuff is difficult. It's not an easy thing. So for someone who's skinnier or smaller and you're trying to compare your plight to somebody who's fatter, it's just really insensitive to the issue itself. Yes, you have your own body shame to deal with, but you don't have to go into a store and tell you, oh, we only carry sizes this big. Or being a woman especially, they have it twice as bad as me. I'm not going to ever sit there and say to a woman, oh, I understand what it means to be fat shamed. I'm having just as bad as you. No, I don't. I know I don't have as bad as a woman does. A woman's value is predicated on how beautiful she is or how desirable she is or how fuckable she is. So if she goes to a store and the standard of beauty is a size 4 and she's a size 10, she's going to feel like she's crap. Oh, we don't carry sizes that big. I'm sorry, dear. I'm not going to compare my plight to hers. Another way to put this into perspective, for LGBT plus issues. Like, I am never going to sit there and tell a trans person that we have the same issue, we have the same level of discrimination towards each other. I mean, we can go for the discrimination Olympics, but I know that they're fundamentally discriminated against just by their appearance alone and how they're trying to just exist in this society. Like, no one will know my sexuality until I tell them, unless I come out like, ah, or like do something like that. But just looking at me or whatever, like, people will maybe assume, but they don't know. Whereas someone who's trans is visibly, like, they're visible, it's there, like, you can't escape it, like, it's just right there. Like, there's no real, like, interpretation in most of the time, and if it is, then people still question it. And there's so many laws against trans people. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and act like, oh, the gays have it the worst. No, I mean, oh no, I mean, yeah, we have it bad, but like, trans people have it way worse, and I feel for them, and I am always in support of them because they need it all the time. So yeah, when LGBT rights, I'm not gonna sit there and tell a trans person that, oh, being gay is so much harder than being trans. I'm never gonna say those stupid stuff like that. That's stupid. That's dumb. Like, there are literally laws in place against trans people. Like, there are laws against gay people, but there are way more laws in place for trans people. There are way less, like, protections for trans people. So, micro, macro, like, we're both on a macro level, but I feel like trans people have it way worse when it comes to the LGBT community, and I feel like we need to be a little bit more sensitive to those things, because we just act like, oh, well, gay men and blah blah blah, gay marriage, I don't know, gay marriage, like, gay marriage is like the least of our needs right now. We have so many other needs that are more important than gay marriage and stuff like that. I mean, God, I feel like gay marriage is just a white gay thing, honestly. But so, feel for another time, another day. So yeah, so hopefully that kind of like got you an idea of what I mean when I talk about micro and macro issues. Hopefully you got to understand what I mean by that, because I'm going to probably use that terminology a lot on this channel. So hopefully that cleared that up. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, this concept video, and I will see you next video.